quiet town, there was an old carpenter named George. George was a good carpenter. He was a good man. One day, he carved a little puppet out of a piece of magic wood. He named him Pinocchio. Pinocchio jumped and bounced as soon as he was carved. This surprised and delighted George. Pinocchio was curious about the world. He couldn't stop looking at it. He couldn't stop looking. One day, Pinocchio heard about a circus in town. There were wonderful shows and fun rides. He wanted to go there so badly, so he sneaked out of the house. On his way there, Pinocchio met many interesting people and things. He saw a little rabbit hopping happily in the grass, so he played with the bunny for a while. And then he met a little bird. The bird flew with him for a while and showed him beautiful sights he'd never seen before. At last, Pinocchio came to the circus. The circus was full of excitement. The people were cheering and applauding. Pinocchio was so excited to be in the crowd, to see all the wonderful performances. There were thrilling acrobatics, cute animal shows, and magic tricks. Pinocchio was mesmerized by all these performances. Pinocchio was so mesmerized by these shows that he lost track of time. But then, just when Pinocchio was in the middle of the fun, a bad guy appeared. This bad guy was a cunning fox. He saw Pinocchio alone, and he had a bad idea. The fox came to Pinocchio and said, "My little friend, do you want to make a lot of money? I know a place where there is a lot of treasure. If you come with me, we'll find those treasures." Pinocchio's eyes lit up when he heard about the treasures. Pinocchio's eyes lit up. He followed the fox without hesitation. The fox took Pinocchio to a remote forest. The forest was eerie. Pinocchio was beginning to get scared. But then, when he thought of the treasure, Pinocchio found his courage again. The fox led Pinocchio around the forest for a long time, but he never found the treasure. At last, the fox showed his face. He said to Pinocchio, "You little fool, there is no treasure at all. Now you're in my hands. Hand over what's valuable to you." Pinocchio realized that he had been tricked. He regretted not listening to the old carpenter and trusting strangers. Just when Pinocchio was in despair, a kindly elf appeared. The elf waved his magic wand and drove the fox away. And the elf said to Pinocchio, "Pinocchio, remember this. You must never trust strangers. You must listen to your elders. That's the only way you can avoid danger." Pinocchio nodded gratefully. He decided to be a good and obedient boy from now on. Pinocchio started on his way home. On his way home, he encountered many more difficulties and challenges. One time, he came across a big river. The water was fast. He didn't know how to cross it, but Pinocchio didn't give up. He looked around for a way to cross the river, and finally, he found a log. He pushed it into the river. Then he climbed up carefully and floated down the river to the other side. After a long journey, Pinocchio finally returned to the town. He saw George, the old carpenter, waiting anxiously at his door. Pinocchio rushed over to him and hugged the old carpenter and cried, Grandpa, I was wrong. I'll never run around again. I'll do as you say. Old carpenter George hugged Pinocchio tightly, with tears in his eyes. From then on, Pinocchio became a better man. He was no longer a mischievous boy. He learned all kinds of knowledge and skills. He helped the old carpenter with whatever he could, and he often helped those who were in need. Everyone loved Pinocchio very much. They said he was a good boy. As time went by, Pinocchio grew up. He used his wisdom and courage. He brought a lot of joy and happiness to the town. And his story has been passed down in the town, has become a beautiful memory in people's hearts.